Well, speaking of sign, the Cavs didn't really sign anybody. Matter of fact, they probably didn't even draft anybody. What are we doing here?
They did not. No, we're going to start with the Cavs' decision to trade out of the 29th pick last night. We were on live stream last night, anxiously waiting. I talked to myself for 33 minutes. The pick was in for the Cavs.
I watched it too.
And then it was announced that the Cavs had traded the 29th pick to the Sacramento Kings in exchange for the number 34 pick tonight and a future second rounder. The Kings then selected Alex Karaban at number 29. Some of the players still on the board at that moment: Henry Visar from UNC, Koa Pete, Malik Thomas, Nick Martinelli. Just some of the names, Baba Miller. We'll talk about some of the other targets later on in the show that will be available for the Cavs coming up tonight at number 34 and who's the best fit. But Jason, Dustin, and G, I'm curious your opinions on this. There is a financial advantage to trading out from 29 back to the second round. It saves a little bit of money, about $1.5 million for Cleveland, which may not sound like a lot, but in the second apron era, that could be the difference between being over the second apron, being a first apron team, or being just a luxury team for this expensive Cavaliers roster. When you heard the news that Cleveland traded out of 29, knowing who was on the board and who was available with that potential selection, do you guys think Koby Altman and the Cavs made the right decision to trade back into round 2 and pick up a future asset along the way?
I'm the wrong person to ask about this because, you know, when draft day comes around, I'm the type of person that's like, nah, I need to have something. It's like your kid that when they go to the store, every time they go in the store, they feel like they're going to leave with something, even if it's a nickel.
Right.
But your parents be like, bro, you're not about to get something every time we go to the store. You just don't need it. Well, the draft for the Cavs, I just wanted to come home with something. Like, give me a bag of candy, an outfit, a magazine. I was waiting there. I was watching your podcast. I was watching the live. I was on at the same time looking at Visar the whole time, just talking myself into how nice he gonna look. And then boom, nothing happened at all. Like, I was just like, okay, first thing I asked you off the charts was, hey, do they not like any of these guys? Do they have red flags? Or because there's guys that obviously I've seen play. There's guys that I've seen put buckets up, and at 29, I'm looking around like, Dustin, give me one or two of them, because it looked like, hey, look, I don't know if we're going to make any big moves with Giannis. Don't know if we're going to do the LeBron thing. So I'm looking forward to somebody that can add into the rotation.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen.
I mean, listen, I always feel like after the first 15 picks of the first round, it's a crapshoot anyway. I mean, for the Cavaliers to take someone at 29 or take someone at 34 or wherever in the second round, like these guys are not going to play.
Yeah.
They're going to play. I mean, we're going to sit here and talk about Imani Bates for 5 more years?
Hey, Imani Bates is still available. You're a free agent. If you don't want to draft, go ahead, bring him in, man. I just talked to him the other day.
Like how many...
Dustin, I got to push back in that a little bit, because if you take
because you're an NBA nerd.
But if you take someone like Visar, for example, and he was the guy I wanted, and G, you were watching, I planted my flag on Visar Island when he fell to 29. I thought he was a player that most analysts had projected higher than 29. On ESPN's big board, he was the 19th overall prospect, and the Cavs need a third big, right? They desperately need a third big. He's not going to start. He's not going to play 32 minutes, but this is a guy that can play alongside Evan Mobley, probably won't play alongside Jared Allen, but gives you a different skill set. He's a guy at a position that would play as a rookie in a complementary role. He's probably your 8th or 9th man, but Malik Thomas as a guard, you're right, probably buried on the bench. Nick Martinelli, if he's the guy they take tonight, probably not playing a ton as a rookie. But Visar is a guy I think could step in, 3-year college player, played at UNC, played alongside Caleb Wilson, another real big, would fit into that rotation basically from day one and play that Thomas Bryant role as a rookie, if not even a little better.
7 feet. He got a little outside touch. I watched him live when he played against Duke and Cam Boozer, and I was like, okay, I like what he could do. I like the high handoff that he threw to old dude Wilson. I think this would have been a decent pick. But now that you talk about the money, Jason, is it a thing where the Cavs is just trying to maximize the money angle of it, or is it the fact that they feel like they can get somebody of the same comparable I guess skill set for less money that works better for them?
Yeah, it's that. I think that the difference between 29 and 34 isn't great. And they did this before. In 2015, I was just trying to look up the specifics. They traded Tyus Jones to Minnesota. They drafted him at 24 and traded him to Minnesota for Cedi Osman and Rakeem Christmas. Now, Rakeem Christmas obviously was a nobody. He was a big from Syracuse.
Yeah, I remember him.
It didn't work out.
I remember him.
And I don't remember the specifics, but it was similar to this roster crunch where they were with the cap. LeBron had been back for 1 year. Kyrie's was entering his extension, his first big extension. Love was on the books. And in a way, it feels like not maximizing the value of a first-round pick, but the Cavs were in a spot this year where they couldn't really trade. They couldn't trade the pick up until draft night. So, it's not maximizing the value of a first-round pick, but at 29, from 29 to 34, the flexibility that a second-round pick gets you in terms of lesser guaranteed money and everything, I get why they did it. And again, David Griffin was the GM, but Koby Altman was on staff then when they did this in 2015. So there's a lot of teams that do it, but that was the first one that came to mind when they drafted Tyus Jones for the Timberwolves, sent him to Minnesota, and they wound up with Cedi, who obviously, was an impact player who spent time here and was at least a piece that helped them. So you can find talent at the top of the second round. We were talking about that yesterday. You can find talent in the NBA now in more places than ever before. So I totally get why they did it. It makes sense. In a sense, it feels like not maximizing the value of a first-round pick, but at the same time, they couldn't trade it until now anyway.
Why is the NBA like this where the stupid they don't let you announce it on draft night? Like
because the new league year doesn't begin until July. And I agree. It's silly.
So stupid.
It's silly.
It's
because
so stupid. Why does a player have to hold up a hat for
a team he's never going to play for?
Yeah. I think back to when Kobe was drafted by Charlotte.
Yep.
And he never played for Charlotte.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Cavs. Well, that's not a good example. That was the second round. Jay Crowder. I think they drafted Jay Crowder and traded him immediately.
Yeah.
But he's still considered drafted by the Cavs.
Nate Ament was holding up a Miami Heat hat last night.
Yeah.
Even though he's headed to Milwaukee as part of the Giannis deal. And I love how ESPN is as part of a deal that is in the works. Can't mention names yet.
It's silly.
Man.
It's we all know. We all have Twitter. Sham's the one that broke the news. He works for you. Just say it.
But
it's so annoying.
I wasn't here, so I didn't really catch what y'all said about the what's the name, the Heat trade. With Giannis.
Giannis.
I hate to trade.
For who?
For who?
What did the Bucks get?
I mean, 3 first-round picks and 3 talented players.
I guess
for a guy that's not going to re-sign long-term. I mean, it sounds like a pretty good deal to me.
We talked about this yesterday, and since the inception of the show, we keep talking about in the NBA, 4 quarters doesn't equal $1. In the old NBA world, you'd rather have a $1 player, than 4 quarter players. Well, the Bucks took the 4 quarter offer last night because of the change of the parity in the NBA, the change in the cap rules, and everything else. They had a superstar available to them in Jaylen Brown, and they took the picks instead. I was a little surprised by it too, but this is basically the deal that Utah made with Cleveland for Donovan Mitchell.
Right.
Some nice players, no superstars, but nice players, and a bunch of first-round picks and a draft swap. It's exactly what the Cavs gave Utah for Donovan. Is Utah any better off today?
No.
No, they're not.
No, at all.
So there's major risk involved. I think you can make a strong case Milwaukee made the wrong deal, and they should have taken the Jaylen deal, knowing he's not going to re-sign there. But Jalen's under contract for what, 3 years?
Yeah.
3 more years. We're going to talk about Jaylen Brown coming up in a little bit on the show.
So I'm a little surprised by it just because, but at the same time, given the change in the draft rules now and the anti-tanking and all this stuff, Giannis has long injury history, and the Heat are not exactly Eastern Conference powerhouse. So they're one calf string away from...
Who do they... I mean, I again... Bam Adebayo and Giannis together.
I don't know how that fits.
Well, I mean, they're 2 talented players, my point, but they don't have any depth behind them.
Yeah,
who else is going to score for them?
I don't know how they fit together. But I mean, to Pat Riley's credit, that team don't ever tank.
Well, Pat Riley's batting 1,000 with these trades, so
they don't ever tank, and they are going to go get the star every time they can.
Yep.
And that's what they did.
And it's been successful, going back to Shaq, to Alonzo, to
Bron,
Bosh, you name it.
Yeah.
I mean, all the way
Jimmy
through.
Butler.
Yeah.
They
Butler.
They keep getting new dudes. Go ahead, McNuggets.
No, we're bring Tyvis in 2 minutes. We're going to put a bow tie on this. Later in the show, we're going to talk about some of the guys on the board at 34 who could be in play for the Cavs tonight when they do make a selection, assuming they pick at 34. We're going to go live again tonight for the Cavs draft. Hopefully, I'm not on stream talking to myself for 35 minutes and to trade from 34 to 58. If that happens, I will turn off the stream. I can't do it. No one wants to hear me talk for 3 hours straight solo. So we will be back. The Cavs do have some interesting possibilities on the board. And just to put a bow on all of this, the player they were going to take at 29, whoever that may be, the guy they liked the most who was on the board, could still very well be there at 34.
Yeah.
And they picked up a future second and they saved some money. I understand.
And they are so draft pick
Yeah.
desolate. I don't know. I don't know.
Any future pick is
need-
added
yeah,
war chest ammo. I was most frustrated at this because, like I said earlier, I was on stream for 35 minutes talking to myself, waiting to react to a pick for the pick never to happen. Financially, logically, I understand why Koby Altman did what he did. I was just frustrated in the moment because I wanted the satisfaction of being able to react to a pick, and instead we got a trade.